say my ID is Wahid, and then ID-UN, it says that I'm Wahid with the username as Wahid. So if I say get end password and then Wahid, it will just tell me that information. At the same time, instead of this one, I could say sub expression, say ID-UN $sign, that's same command. Or you could do a backtick here, ID-UN, that's also same command. So three ways you can get the same output for those ones. But notice that when I do the ID dash group name is gonna say also group name is Wahid. But now if I do switch user dash, and then I dash, this means switch user and then dash, I could type in root, switch user as root, or I could type in as another user like developer one or something, dev one, whichever user. So I'm going to become root first. So in order to become root, I have to be on the wheel group or part of the etc sudo or files. So when I type in, when I type in groups, I will see that I'm part of the wheel group. That means that I can do a switch user do or sudo su dash. That means I can, dash is meaning that change my profile. Since I already switch user and I provided the password for user Wahid, now I was able to successfully do it because it was cached. So the this slash, dash means that change the profile to root. So now if I just look at the $sign PS1, my profile is also changed based on the root here. So if I say get end ID root, you will see, get end password and then root, you could see that it is super user there. But at the same time, I could do this one $sign ID-UN. That one also shows me that I am logged on as super user there. Or I could do the backtick, and then ID-UN. But notice that if I do this one and instead of this one, I give another user that get the information for that user, which is in this case Wahid. So if I want to just do something here with the get end to just prove it to you that now this one ID-UN, I'm root right here. But notice if I say switch user dash Wahid, somebody says, oh, do a super user. No, it's not super user. Please don't say that one because it's inaccurate. And switch user stands for switch user, not super user. Because you could become with this user any other user, but you can become root or any other user. So sudo is also switch user do. So here you can see that now I'm becoming Wahid. And then if I just exit out, I'm back as root. Similarly, if I just say sudo su dash Wahid, and now I changed that to Wahid. So this one is not super user do, but it is switch user do. I hope that's clear to you. As you can see from this example, I say switch user do, I was root already, and then I did it. If I was another user, and then I would run this command, that doesn't guarantee that I'm running as a super user. So if I just have a user that's not part of the wheel group, and I say sudo su dash and then xyz, that user is not part of the group. It's not going to work. First of all, the xyz has to be an account, or dev1 has to be an account, and then secondly, it has to be part of the group. So let's just for the sake of clarity, I'm going to say user add dev1. So now I just created a dev1 on the etc password, etc shadow, and etc group file. So there's entry for them, as you can see. Now, if I just say switch user do or switch user dev1, I become dev1. So ID-un, you can see I'm dev1 here. So at this time, if I say groups, notice I'm not part of the wheel. So if I just say sudo su dash, that is not saying that become a root super user do. It is saying switch user do this command, which is stand for switch user dash, meaning that become root. As this time says, are you part of the wheel group? And then if it is not part of the wheel group, the password does not have anything, so it's gonna fail. Let's just assign a temporary password first. Then I'm gonna just say pass wd dev1, and then it is not allowing me because I have to be root first. So exit out of this one. Now say password dev1. Then at this time I could assign a password. So let's say I just make a password there, a very bad password short. Notice that it's not allowing me to use it. It actually created a, even though it says it's lower than 8 characters, which is not good, then it is still allowed it to assign to that password. So now I want to just show you two more things before we are out of this session. So switch user and dash dev1. Now I'm dev1, and then I say sudo su dash, and then run the command, let's say emacs or something. So it's gonna prompt me for the password, and then it says, well, the one is not in the sudo files. Because it's not part of the wheel group, it is not going to allow it there. So in order for me to do it, let's just create a stronger password. First, I'm gonna say password dev1, and I'm gonna just give it a stronger password so it does not say a bad password. And then so at this time, it just did the password successfully. And then grep minus I dev1 etc shadow. So this entry will just show me the entry on the password file. And then I'm going to just not do that one. I'm gonna assign a different password. So the password dev1 is going to be, again, I'm gonna give it a password. Is to simplicity. Okay, so it is that one was not taken. I'm gonna try to give us a password that is harder to remember. And then this time, the password has to be a combination of uppercase, lowercase, alphanumeric, and everything. So now that password is there. So if I clear my screen and say grep minus I dev1 etc shadow, notice that entry is really long, but notice this time stamp of that one is actually that is going to say that in maybe 90 days it's going to expire. So what I could do is run this command, and then at the same time say password minus x 1 and then dev1. This command says that take the adjust the data for the dev1 so the password does not expire. If you don't log into this machine for a while, then you want to make sure that it doesn't lock up on you. So that's how that one is. But at this time, I'm going to be done with the demo for the sudo. So I want to just do one more things. Add the dev1 into the wheel group. So you could do a vi sudo here, and then just come up on the part where it says look for root here. Root here, and then you just search for it, and you just add the line for root to allow it. But I want to just do another way. Control, no, sorry. And since Vim was not there, it dropped me to a nano. So I'm gonna do a Control X, exit out, and then I want to just say save modification, no, and then I'm going to install Vim here. So whenever you use which Vim is not installed, it will not work for you. Which VI is not VI is there, but echo and $ editor is set to nano. So whenever you run VI, it is gonna just run that one. In order to just run VI, you could say export editor is equal VI. And instead of nano, you could say VI. Now I run the same command with the VI sudo, then this time it's opening VI here. And then I search for root here, sorry, root in lowercase, and then you can see here this. I could copy this one and just change this one to dev1, and then dev1. Let me just make this one dev1, and then I could just be part of the sudoers there. Another way you could do is that you could just vim on etc group file. Vim is not installed, so vi etc group, and then just look for wheel group. And then right here where Wahid is there, colon, and you could just say dev1. So that would be a shorter version of this. So now if I say switch user dev1, clear screen, now ID groups, you can see that if I type in groups, it is dev1, but let's see a new group wheel. And then it's gonna prompt me for the password. I type in the password. Okay, so I'm going to do it the other way around, vi sudo, and then look for root. And then right here, sometimes the vi sudo should have taken place there. So dev1, I'm going to try this one and then clear screen, sudo switch user dash dev1. Now ID and groups is still there, but let's see if vi sudo took effect. So I'm going to say vi sudo permission denied, if this is good. Vi sudo search for dev1. Yes, update is there. But so the fact that I could not do a vi sudo, let's do this one with dev1. We just see if sudo let's say switch user to dash to dev1 first. Clear the screen here, and then sudo dash, and then it's gonna prompt me for the password of the user. I think I typed the password inaccurate, so let me just try the password there. Sometimes when you create the password fast and then keyboard combination, it might be off. So let's try it one more time. Yeah, so that was just the password. Now clear screen and it is there. I become root. So this is how if I just say ID-UN and then sudo dash, now I'm already root ID-UN. Okay, so the reason it is there because the groups is dev1, but I'm part of this file. So if I say sudo vi sudo, then it will open it for me because now I'm part of that group. Again, notice that nano, the editorial is nano, so you have to be kind of like depend on which one you prefer. I don't like to do it the basic stuff. I do a lot more in coding, so at least I use either Vim or Emacs. So here, if you go Control X here, and then clear the screen, and then say, okay, I am there. Let's just say clear screen and say sudo dash dev1. Now dev1 is there, but notice equal $ editor is equal nano. It is not set. Editor is editor. Editor. Make sure edit. Editor. Okay, it is nano. Somewhere on the top, I might have typed it inaccurately. Yeah, I did. Okay, so editor with editor. So if you correct that one, and right here you say, so my shell is bash, so that means I say export editor is equal, and then vi. Now if I say sudo sudo and then say sudo vi, meaning that run the sudo vi command with a sudo command, because I'm logged on as dev1 here, and then my group is my group said okay, but I need to just do sudo vi sudo. Before it was opening nano, now it's opening the password. If I type in the password correctly this time on the first try, then it's going to open that one. But it opened it on nano. So Control X again and say echo $editor. Editor is vi, which vi it is not reading it. So let's see, export editor is equal user ben vi, and then we say sudo sudo and then sudo vi, sorry, sudo vi sudo. Okay, it's still opening it on that room. So there's a couple of other variable, echo $term. It has to be to VT100. We could do export term is equal VT100, and then export. The next one that's important is visual. If I just say echo $visual, that one is not set to anything, so it shouldn't make any difference. Export visual is equal vi also, and equal $editor is vi, and then them or vi is it etc vi test. Okay, vi is vi lowercase, sorry, my keyboard, vi test one.txt, and it opens it in vi. So why the sudo it's not looking at that one? By default, I think it's inside the vi sudo itself is not there. So in this case, you have to do switch user first as root, and then type in the password of this user. Now, oh, sorry, I have to do -dev1. So now you type in that password of that user, and then I become that user. But because I changed the switch user I could do sudo su dash, and now I'm root here. So vi sudo will just open nano. So now I can do Control Z, clear screen, echo $editor, $editor, and then I'm going to say export editor is equal vim or vi, and then now run the same command with vi sudo, and it will open the vi. And you can see this is not nano, it is vi. So we fixed that one, but let me just add some software here. So since we are on this user, if I just go back here and say id-un, this is originally, I did this one, I'm going to exit out of that one. Now id-un. So if I just don't need that dev1 information, I could just say del user and then like add user and del user, right? So which add user was there, which del user is there. User del, not add user, which user del. So some of those ones like user mode would be for modification, user add is add user, the user add was there, which user add. So they all start with user or group and then add, remove, del or user mod or user add, your user del, similarly group add, group mode. And then you're welcome to read my book on the chapter that I mentioned here. And so right here, if you go on the chapter 4, for example, on chapter 4, the whole user add, user del, user mode, user group, and then group add, group mode, group stuff, all of them, including users, are there. So if you want to just do a like user del, this is all examples I'm showing you here, all of them, one by one, and then you can do that one. And then similarly for user add or group stuff, you can do that too. So if I want to just delete that user, dev one, I don't need it. I could say user del and then dev one. So notice dev one is gone, but now if I say grep minus I dev one, etc password, etc shadow, etc shadow, etc group, make sure that there's no entry. But etc group, because I added manually that dev one is there. We want to make sure we did not add it with the command group add or something onto that one. So since we did it manually, that one has to be cleaned up. But before I clean it up with the vim, let me just say, if I say which vim vi improve, it's not installed. So now I'm saying, give me a list of all the packages that are there. For every file a system that you're working on, you have a package manager. So yum, which is stand for Yellow Dog Update Manager, is pointing to DNF-3. So if I say which yum, or what is yum, what is yum is going to give me a Yellow Dog Update Manager that is currently pointing to DNF-3. So what is DNF? And DNF is also a command interface that is an upgrade version of yum. Everything that you can do with yum, you can also do it with DNF. But both yum and DNF are actually symbolic link to DNF-3. So even though it says what this is not there, but if I say which, that's actually a symbol, Python script. So file user pen and DNF-3, it is just showing you a Python script, and it's about 62 lines. So if you do a word count minus L, it's 62 lines. You can look at the content of it by line number by saying cat minus N. It's basically symbolic, the pack modules, OS modules, all of those ones for within Python script, and Python 3 is used here. So if I look at which yum, Yellow Dog Update Manager, file user ben yum, I told you that this is symbolic link to DNF-3. Similarly, and DNF also symbolic link to DNF-3. but the actual DNF-3 is a Python script that I just showed you. So whether you type in yum or DNF would work for you, because the version of the OS here, OS-release is Fedora, Linux 39, and then all of the details are here. You could also do a shorter version of this one rather than OS-release. You could say Fedora-release, and you could see this one. Let me make this screen a little bit bigger, so it is much easier to read. Now, if I just say uname-r, the release that I was telling you that the kernel build is this, and now you can see, even though on the actual video that I showed you, this version is 6.6.14. The other one was 6.6.5. So when I did the update of the system, it moved out from that version. So there's a command called DNF or yum, whether you want to use yum, and then you can get repo list, show all the repository, list of repository that's available for you for downloading packages or PMs and everything and installing them. Or you could say DNF repo list. The commands are similar. So you could get this one. I rather than using yum, I would use DNF, because we're on the later version of it, and we want to just make sure at some point when they Red Hat or Rocky or Fedora decide to end of life the yum and no longer symbolic link, the DNF-3 is actually a Python program that works. So I'd rather use this. DNF-list give you all the packages are on the system. So the list of packages that are on the system could be hundreds and thousands. It is just as many packages that you have. You see that there's a list of them here. And if you go word count on them, you will just know exactly about maybe 74,000 packages that are there. Similarly, if I say yum list and then word count on it, that's very close to 74,000, but it's not. Yeah, it is exact number. So both of them is good. RPM is going to be, on the other hand, is not the same amount. So RPM minus query all. QA means query all, and then you say word count minus L. This will just do a 1948. If you want to get all of the packages listing, it's there. So if you do RPM minus QA and say grep minus I open SSH or open SSL, sorry, RPM minus QA grep minus I open SSH, let's say, you will see the list of open SSH there. Similarly, if I say SSL, and there. And then you can also use these commands as you do open SSL, for example. You can say, well, what if I just want to only get the one that is open SSL -lab or something here? So you can get the RPM minus QA and then just give the name of the package -lab, lab and then start, or that would just give you exactly the one that you want. And if you wanted to do query and length, query and the long listing, then you could say, since this package is not given the name here, I want to just do this command rather than an asterisk. I want to do this. And so query lab, and then let's do this one, and then say grep minus I open SSL. Now I have that one. Then I can make a RPM minus QL, and then just backtick this one. That output is going to run it, and then now I get a list of them with that command. So if I want to get only to see what is on the bin directory, just the list of any of them, and that does not have anything, but let's say open SSH. And then you can see that open SSH, it has secure copy, secure FTP, SSH keygen, SSH add. watch my secure shell video. I talk about all of this there, including the secure shell table. So and that is very easy to just get that information here. You can also pass on this one within a subshell command, like $, and this, and then and this. So you can do that one also. It will do the same thing. But at the same time, if you just say for all the packages that are there, let me just show you one other trick. Right here. So if you just run this command, this is just basically showing all the OpenSSH commands here. If I just say is a VI there, VI, there's so much on this, right? But Vim is not there yet. So actually Vim is there. So which Vim, it is not showing on the binary. So I'm going to say DNF install Vim. This will just install Vim, and then I say, yeah, I like to get the Vim package installed. So I could have said DNF install -y for don't prompt me, but it did prompt me because I didn't provide that -y. So now this is already there. So if I just do the -y again, it's gonna say this requirement is already met. Dependency is resolved, which means that which Vim, you can see that it's the binary there. VI file user Vim, it will tell you that it's open. Sorry, user, I mistyped it. User is there, and it's executable link format 64-bit. So if I just want to get detail of that one, say show me LDD on it, you can see the dynamic link library that are attached to this binary, and all the shared object files that .so files are there. Libmat.so.6 and so on. Virtual dynamic shared object. This is all these things are in detail. I discussed on the advanced classes a lot of these modules also. And there, similarly, you can do like a pmap of this file, PLDD for process LDD, or but process LDD. So I have to run the command in order to get to output of it. Like for example, PLDD of process 1. You can see process stream 3. I mean process LDD 5 more. That is the system D. Process 1, and then all the shared object that are attached, left 64-bit with this shared object file, Fedora code 39. You can see all of those ones, core, left system D corps. And so on this one, you can also do like a pmap, process map, pmap, because system D is process is running. Earlier, I showed you on my Linux server to get a detail of it. So if I do PWDX1, that it shows where system D is running. So PS3 processes stream 3. And then if I just clear my screen and then run this one with more, notice the system D and all the other ones. On my web server, I showed you this one. So you don't have to be sitting in front of a Linux machine. You can use my web server, MyWebUniversity.com, and practice those ones. Man, PS3 will give you in this format, but I already provided the whole details in a very nice PDF format. And you don't have to be sitting in front of a Linux machine again. All you need to do is use your browser, have the desire to learn these commands, and start practicing everything that on your own. So Vim is installed now. If I want to just do something with Vim, obviously I could do that one using Vim there. But we were talking about the system update on this one. So now if I say DNF update, one of the command DNF --help will give you all the commands that you can run with DNF. Okay, so if I just do -5 more, all the related command, whether you want to do install or list or remove a package or get a list or do subscription enable or something. All of those packages that are there, those commands, subcommands are available for you. Similarly, like yum and dash dash help, and then 5 more, it will just give you all the options here. And then similarly for RPM, RPM minus QA and grep minus I. Sorry, not QA. Let me just do dash dash help and then 5 more. You can see all the options of Red Hat Package Manager that are available for you. For the installation, dash I, dash V for verbose, dash H for hashing, and then dash uppercase U for update, and the dash E for erase, and so on. So there's all of these options there. In addition, if you need any documentation, and there, obviously on my website, I have made more videos on all these topics, and sometimes I have videos, sometimes I have PDF files. You're welcome to just reference those ones for further understanding. So we did talk about RPM there, but now I'm going to do a DNF update. DNF update is just going to check on my system, say, okay, there's 25 modules that needs to be updated. These are the 25 modules that are listed here. So I'm going to say, go ahead and do the update. Notice the flickering, it was not there up to this point after the reboot. But if it does show up again, one of these modules could cause that flickering. But it is hard to just detect it while I'm making a video for you to just do it. The right way to do is that LSMod is going to show you all the modules that are installed on your system. LSMod and all that. Then I could just look at the module that is affected by it. For example, NVIDIA or something, I could do RM mod on that one and then see if the flickering goes away. So there's a number of troubleshooting technique you could use to identify the problem and the culprit. One other thing that you could do is that while you're doing the DNF update here, notice that it is running, and then this time all the dependencies are resolved, which means that there's no issue on the system. But at the same time, if I want to just open another terminal here and then make this size also bigger, and then I'm going to just say, okay, on this window, I could run a DNF update here, but it is going to, as soon as I run it, it's going to just say it is already updated, up to date. So it doesn't matter, it's not going to finish, it's not going to just finish. So I could still continue looking at the process. But there are processes that are running on the system that is like my bash script. So here, when I just log in, I did a sudo, and then this was my main bash, that 3164. So if I look at that bash scripting there, I say 3164, clear screen ps minus efa, grep minus I 3164. I could look at that process, and it is this bash that is spin off this process tree. So if I say pwdx of 3164, give me a process a working directory, print working directory of executable, it says that you started off that process from root. And if I say, give me a P3 of it, PS3, it will just say that the bash just run the command PS3 on it. So it is not any other command associated with it, but it is waiting and listening to a port. So there's a very nice command called strace. If I have installed strace already, you will have it, but by default, it doesn't come with it. Solaris has a trace command, and Linux has a strace, meaning a stream trace. You can trace a process. So instead of the PS3, I could do a strace on it. A strace that will just say cannot find that process because that process may have been terminated. So now if I just do a pstep that one, it is there still, but the reason it didn't find it because I need to type in -p for that process name. This one says strace -p process and then the process name. So it is doing a trace on the process, but notice it is waiting on a -1, meaning that because it's a bash, whatever I go till I exit out of the entire things, this process will just be waiting in indefinite. So every activity that's happening, it will go on this one. So this is not a good command because not too much activity is happening. I'm gonna stop this one. I'm gonna try running another command like top. So I run top on this one now. If I go here, say ps minus efa grep minus I top, you can see that top is running here. Top is running, and so at this time, if I just say, well, this is good running, but which one of this one is the process that is top running? So let's just do a grep minus v grep, meaning that don't show my own grep command. So this is the top command, is this process right here, 4762. So if I say pwdx 4762, you can see it is spin out from home directory of Wahid, right? So what I want to do is that say, okay, I'll spawn off, but PS3 of that number 4762, and then you can see it is running the top command. Now, if I just say, well, this is that done, let me just kill it. Before I kill it, I want to do a trace on that process. Minus P4762. Notice that this time I get more information. Whatever activity on the top command that is running, it shows here. So if I make this screen a little bit bigger, you can see all the activities are happening on the top. As the changes are happening here with the CPU and then the threshold and shared memory, resident portion, virtual memory, nice, priority, user, process IDs, they come and go. All of those ones with uptime, and if there's any zombie process, all that information is there. But at the same time, this activity will be reported here on the strace there. So at this point, let's say I'm going to quit out of top. If I just do a queue and top is not running, this program terminated. As you can see, it closed right here. So this is a very good test that I showed you on this one, but let's do this. I was talking about GNU and other utilities, geoc and other one. So we did the update there. I also mentioned about the graphical interface. So I'm gonna just click on here and I show you the graphical interface. So you have an option for Firefox. The entire thing says your kind of display. You can click on each of desktop that you can open something here, and you can just say, well, I want to open another terminal. You can click on terminal and you just open a command line terminal. So we're jumping between the desktop and a command line interface. This is your command line interface. Every time you open a command prompt, you have a shell. And then that shell $sign is pointing to the bash at this time. So for the 801. If I just open another, if PS is there, if I just open another bash, then I just spin off another process, which is the second bash, that process ID of this one. So if I just have Bourne shell, I just did that one, and now I'm on a Bourne shell. So PS now echo $sign is pointing to for the 893. And then let's say if I have a corn shell is not there, that means I have to install it. So since I have root access, I could say sudo dnf install corn shell. I'm just going to install it just so you understand it, how to install a package and how to not install a package. And then, but at the same time, when you have bash, it is a superset of Bourne shell and corn shell. You don't need both a corn shell and another one. So now corn shell is there. If I just spin off a corn shell, PS is there. Export name as equal Wahid, let's say, and then export my number is equal 5. My favorite number is say echo name and then $ num. That those two will be say Wahid 5. And then if I just exit out of this one, now I'm on the born shell. Now if I say equal $name and $num, those are not defined there. So I have to say echo export name is equal Wahidullah, and then same thing with export num is equal 55, 5, and then echo now $name. Whatever is defined on this shell, that is defined here. And same thing with the $num. So if I exit out of this one, again, echo $num is not defined. And then and now let's say I say which C shell. C shell is not there, which through C shell is not there. So I'm going to use yum this time instead of DNF. You could use whichever one you want. Sudo DNF yum install, and then we say through C shell. Through C shell, when you install it, it comes out with a superset of TCSH, which is a superset of C shell. So which C shell is like syntax. So if I say just get into through C shell, and then PS here. Now if I have to define like a variable name echo, I don't say export. I say set env and then name, and then say there's no equal sign. You could say Wahid, and then now say echo $name. It will sorry, lowercase. It has to be case sensitive. So that's the variable I define. And similarly, if I say set env num 10 and then echo $num, that is there. And then also you could say print env, that's giving you a list of the variable. So print env tail minus 2, that would be the last 2 that I define. Or I could just say egrep, and then just look for name or matching num. So this is the whether the string is there with egrep is going to multiple string match. So you can say whether it is name or num, just show me that one. So if I say env here, and then there's more than one, like I want to see host, group, and name and num, then I could say here, notice that when I do this command, I have to type in host in uppercase, host, and then in order to get the host there, whichever one variables are there. But if I don't want to get the host name, write it in uppercase, I type in this one, it's not going to come. So there's a syntax with -i, meaning ignore the case, you can still match it there with the host. Notice there's more than just name lowercase and uppercase for name. So once I did the ignore case, it is just matching those ones as well. So if I just did this one, I could also pick up, let's say I run this command, and then I say, well, those are the variable, but I'm looking not for the rest of them. I want to show you a simple one just to match those ones, because it doesn't match the host. So I'm going to get out of this one, and I say, okay, let's do this op, and then say print a $0. $0 means the entire line. And if I say $1, it is just that one. But $2 doesn't exist there. There's no separator there. But if I just say here, if I say cut minus delimiter is equal sign, and then equal sign the delimiter, and then I say minus F1 field 1, it only shows me the variable, key pair value. So if I say field 2, that would be valuable. You could do a lot of things with these commands. So if I just, I'm on the directory here, clear screen, ls minus l, like for example here, I have all these files with D as the directory. So I could do a find minus type D, it will just list all the directory that are directories on this directory. So if I just say this and say find dot minus type dot slash desktop, and then say minus type D, it will only show the one directory. So make dir under dot slash desktop and say dir one, and then make dir two, and then now if I just run this command, it is just going to show more than one. If I see minus exact ls minus ld, for each one of them, show me the permission of them, I can get that information here. Say, show me that they are directory, read, write, execute by the owner, read, write by the group, and then read and execute by the group, and read, write, read, execute by others. And that's coming because of UMask. So UMask is 22. If I'm creating a directory here, say make dir a new one. Now ls minus ld new one. Notice that it has 755, meaning that 777 minus the UMask, which is 022. That is going to give me 755. So that directory is by default at that one. So I put this pound in front of it. It should not say command not found, because somehow it does not understand that it is. So every other system, when you do a pound, it knows that it's a command on the command line. So let me just make sure that there's no space before that. No, there's no space. So it is still not doing it. The UMask minus that number. So if I say ls minus ltr, the new dir is there, or in. Notice that I'm gonna say new file, attach a new file. So the new file, new file. This one is an empty file, but if I do ls minus ld, ls minus ld, it shows me that it is a file that's a regular file. Read, write by the owner, and then read and by others in the group. So how is that calculated? Is 666 minus a UMask, which is 022. That is going to give you information of 644. That's read, write, and there by others, by group, by owner, and then read and read by others in group. So, and that is permission stuff. I have videos on it. So if you go on the MyWebUniversity, also if you look at chapter 2 or 3, I believe it is. Let me just see what chapter I have, the change mode and change ownership. I believe it's on the chapter 3. Yeah, change mode, change owner, and change group. So when you go to change mode, you see these tables. I have explained all of that one in a very nice format, and I have showed you what the 775 means, what the 644, and so on. All of that details are here. You're welcome to understand it and how you change the permissions there. So I'll just give you a summary quickly here, so you understand what is going on there. And then for permission, we talked about it, and then we talked about the GUI. Well, I want to show you more on the GUI. So on the GUI, notice that it is this nice desktop. You can right click here and then change the background display. So if you want to change the background, you can change the background, and the background options are here, a number of them. So whichever one you prefer to choose. If you like this one, for example, you click on it. And then when you close this one, now your desktop background already changed here. You can see here. So the other thing that you could do on change background and display setting, you can do also display setting for different resolution setting if you want to make it smaller. For making a video, I made this resolution, so and that is good enough. I don't want to change it at this time because I want to make sure that you can read everything as I do. And then on the terminal itself, you can also look at how the terminal is configured, and you can just change the appearance of the terminal if you want to change it. At this time, I'm leaving all those to your option because it's basically your desktop, whatever you feel comfortable with. Play around and then do it. It's just a button to click on and the GUI and work on it. At the same time, here you have graphical interface for programs. On top of this list that you have here, you can see here, you can spin off a Firefox by just going to Firefox and let's say go to www.mywebuniversity.com, and then it will go to MyWebUniversity or HTTPS youtube.com/@MyWebUniversity. That is my YouTube channel. So by default, it will open my YouTube channel here. That would be just these videos that I'm just making it for you. If you're done with this one, you can open another tab and you can open another tab and so on. This is just a browser. Similarly, if you go here in the file manager, like on the, I'm sorry, this is the calendar. I just have to move this one a little bit here. Okay, this is file manager right here. So file manager is like this file manager on Windows. You can just come in on your PC and then look at file manager and all the programs, directories, folders. And similarly here, you have based on what the home directory, or you can go to downloads, or let's say I did on the desktop, you can just go on the desktop and then just I open these other DIRs. You can right click and say delete it, and you move the trash, or whatever you want to do with it, or just right click new folder and say dirt 1, and then you just create it, and then inside dirt 2, for example, you create another one. You can open a new file or open a terminal, and then automatically opens the terminal on that one. So there's a lot of nice stuff here. df-h shows you the hard disk information, saying that this is your file system. cat etc fstab file, for example, file system table, it shows you all the details of it. And so let me just show you that one, etc. So by boot, whenever you boot the system will have this root partition and boot partition and home directory that are getting mounted at boot time. So if you say mount command, it will show all the mount commands that are there. And then if you could say etc fstab file system table, it will show you the content of it. If I look at the line number -n, you can see that some of the line, for example, root partition is this. But if I want to see what is the file system, I remember I told you that different type of file system, and some of them are like bather file system, extended for file system, XFS, extended file system, ZFS for Unix. Solaris, like Unix is for Solaris, you have ZFS as well as Unix file system, UFS, and then NFS for network file system, CEF for common internet file system. There's Samba file system. There's ZFS, zettabyte file system, bather file system. So like here, we are looking at the -t extended file system. So df-ht, if we say t and then extended 4, I saw extended 4 on the boot partition, that is there. But the other one was a bather file system. So cat etc fstab file system, you can see bather file system. In order to get that one, you have to say And instead of this, you say BTRFS, bather file system. It will list all the bather file system. So whichever file system you have mounted it, you can get it their information. And then there's information about your resources on the system, like free-h. It shows you in human readable, -h means human readable. When you run top command, it also shows you the memory that is 8 gig allocated on this one. And then there's a swap space and everything is here. So you can clear a screen here, say, let me just make this one a little bit bigger. Okay, so free-h is a human readable, and it says you that is there, and then top give you all the system resources, and the load average is showing 0.5, and then CPU user 0.5, and there's not much activity. You can see the system is pretty efficient. So you can say uptime also to get the system uptime, free-h I showed you, and then cat/proc/meminfo. Remember I told you that the proc file system or memory-based file system, they are 0-byte file system. That's 0-byte. It is written on the memory as pseudo file system. So the data, even though when I do a ls-ld cat proc meminfo, it shows 0-byte, similarly with the CPU info. But when I say instead of LD, if I say cat on this one, it will show the line number, the files that has all the CPU information. Similarly, for example, if I want to do a portation for the cat/proc/portation, this one is a portation, and then it's gonna say portations, and then with S, and so portations show all the portation SDA, SD, this. So on this system, if I want to become root here, let's just become root quickly. Because I'm showing a lot of stuff and I want you to learn as much as possible on one video, and your time is valuable to me. So it's not a waste of your time at all. When you're learning any part of it, you can repeat some of these ones, and then you can train other people once you understand the concept behind it, why we're doing this one. So cat proc file system, we could also do fdisk-l dev/sda, for example. The SDA, you can see that all the SDAs. But if I want to see SDA1, you can read that slice or that portation. SDA2 similarly. And then if I want to go fdisk-l itself, it says that what are the devices that are available so that I can do it. If I want to say dev/sda3, SDA3, then that slice will be right there. At the same time, you can do lsblock, list of block on file system, that you can see all the file system data. You can do IO stack on the system, and then IO stack is not installed, but it says you want to install sysstack, and that install it, and now IO stack will be available. So clear screen IO stack, and it's going to give me IO stack. IO stat 1.5 means run every 1 second, 5 of them, and then just terminate. Similarly, if I do a VM stat for virtual memory statistic, you can get the VM stat there, which VM stat is there. So if I say VM stat 1.3, run 3 of those outputs every 1 second, it will give you that. And then we're talking about the free and other ones. Let me just show you also swap space. So cat/proc/swaps shows you how much swap space if you have allocated anything on that one. It will show you. df-h there. If you want to say, for example, df-disk usage minus sh run everything in summary and human readable for this one, it says, okay, this one is running that. But if I want to say, for example, user, that's a larger one, you can do, and that one is 6.1K. User bin to see all the binaries is how much. So if you want to get a list of all the binaries here, you could do a list minus L, and all the binaries are there. So you could say, for example, the GAUK and AUK, for example, let's say I'm looking for everything on the user bin that is stored with Z. So I could do this one and say list minus L bin, and then I say grep Z. So I want to go with the grep first character of that one is to start with Z. So notice this one is not going to find anything. Why? Because I have to do an op here and then say print $9. So I get the print $9, which is the file names first, and then on top of that one, this is giving me all the files. Now the one that is started with the Z, I'm going to just say now grep minus I lowercase z or uppercase, it doesn't matter. So at this stage, I'm going to be interested on anything that matches that one. You could see that there. So if you're looking for like a zcat command, obviously you could just say grep zcat. That is unique to that one. So anything with zcat is going to match that information there. And then if you see, okay, if I want to get a man page is on this one, so tail minus one, the last one, and then I could just do this one. A short version of this one would be just to type in man and then do single quote like this. But why bother when that information you could do a clear screen man zcat. So the whole thing is there available for you. But I'm showing you a number of ways with awk and gawk and other ones you could do. So like right here, I could say, if I want to see cat list.txt, what is in the content of that file? And then I say, whatever is the file that is there, show me only this part of the permission. So if I say stat list.txt, then it will give me that information for a statistic of that file list.txt. Similarly, the statistic is basically the size of the file, the inode structure, and then the permission, who accessed the file last, and who owns it, who is the owner, who is the group, who is the permission, and what kind of file or directory it is, and so on. But here, when you do a list minus L, you can use gawk or GNU awk or awk itself. Whether you do awk or new awk is an AWC, an AWK or gawk. So all of these commands are interchangeably can be used. Some of them has a little bit more features than other ones, depending on what you want to do with it. And you could say, let's get the print $0. So if I want to say $0, this is I have to close it, and it will just basically $0, meaning that point to everything back there. So if I say echo, this is hello world, this will just say hello world. And if I say here awk print $0, that means just do the hello world there automatically. So the argument that are coming to awk either is from a standard in or standard input file. So I could just also pass it on from an input file or write it in a script and run it in there. Watch my other videos on awk and everything we could do. But here, let's just do it from the standard output. So the output of one command becomes the input of awk. So right here is this is the command. I could say gawk, GNU awk, and then I could say print $1. $1 is meaning that everything here before the first is space, $1, and then that would just give me those. And $2, the second field. And $3 is third field. So root. And then $4 is also root. And $5 is the other one. So let's look at the $9, which is that file name. And that is the file name here. So now if I say on this one, say grep minus I less there, it will just do this. And then I could say minus exact cat minus n less dot text. So I mean cat minus n, in this case the argument is already there. I can look at the content of it. It is there, cat minus n. So no such file. Somehow it did not pick it up. Let me just see why it did not pick it up. So I say this, and then I say grep less dot text. That picked it up, and then I say minus exact, and then I say cat and this command, and so it does not. So cat less dot text, it will just do that one. So why is it not picking up that one? Less dot text. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. This is not part of the find command. If I do a find dot minus name, and then I say less dot text, notice the difference here. Less dot text, I'm going to find this one, but now I say run the minus exact command and cut that file for me. It will do it. And if I put a minus n here, it will do it. But why I didn't find it with the ls minus l? Because I could not do minus exact for that one as an argument. You have to say pipe it to that one, then read it that one. So let's do uppercase here, clear the screen here. This command does not run because there's some issue here. You have to say while read var do and then cap the $var. Actually, you could say echo reading the content of the file $var now, and then dot and then say cap minus n to show the line number also $var, and then done. So it shows that reading the file, and then it gave you the variable, which the file that we were reading it, and everything. So if I want to remove that file, all I have to do is say on that while read, and instead of reading the file, say removing the file, and then right here, instead of cutting it, I could say rm, and now it says done. Removing the file, I remove regular file. The text is done. Yes option. It prompted me for yes or no, but because I did not say accept it, so I have to do /bin to make sure that it does not prompt me for it. So this one, I will show you what does that mean. I removed it, which rm by default it says whenever you remove something, it is using the remove alias rm, and then it says minus I interactively prompted. But because I was doing it within the script, I forced it with the /bin, meaning that don't use the alias, use the binary rm to remove that one, and it did it. So here, another way you could do it is that, for example, let's say I create a file here. Let's go to home wlutfi, home Wahid, and then I just go to desktop, and then right here I created this file directory dir1 dir2. So I'm gonna say rm dir remove directory dir1. rm dir1, sorry. RD is for the Windows. rm dir2. Because those directories are empty, it deleted it for me there. But I noticed I wrote two commands. So if I want to just create it using a for statement here, I want to just do this one on a so this directory is fine. I'm just going to undo it on this one. So I'm going to say for I and sequence of 10. So I want to create in sequence. I'm going to say for I in a sequence of this one and do. I'm going to say make echo making in the directory dir and dollar sign I, and then say make dir dir underscore dollar sign or dir just dollar sign I. So whatever the directory you stated on the echo, you want to just give it the same name. Make dir this one and then say done. Notice it says making the directory dir 1 through 10. On the fly, we just created 10 directories. Similarly, if I just want to remove those directories, I could say instead of this one, I could say remove directory and then removing directory. Because they're not files that are there with any additional files in it. But notice that if I just want to say make dir test1 and then say touch test1 and then file1, now if I just say rm dir test1, it's going to say directory is not empty. So if I want to just remove that directory with the content of the file and I have the ownership, I could say rm minus rf test1, and then now test1 is gone. But remember that whenever you use rm minus rf, it is saying recursively and force it with the permissions. So don't prompt me. If you want to delete something, make sure that it's an absolute yes, and don't just delete it something that you doubt and then later on you say, well, I wish I had not deleted. Once you delete it, it's gone. And then make sure you back up and everything before you do something on the production system. And think about it a few more times and run the command. If you're not sure, ask somebody that who knows the system better to help you out. And then on the development machine, you can learn it and practice it. And if you made mistake, it's a virtual machine you can clean up. Even on Google virtual machine that you go on the Google Cloud, and then you could just work on every day as a different system, and you don't have to worry about your sandbox VMs getting messed up with something by accident. You clean it up. So they clean it up after every day, after every user. So we did talk about updating the system. So now let's show you some more on the GUI right here. When we look at the file manager, for example, let me close this one. I say close this terminal, and then I want to exit out of the file manager also, and exit out of this one. So all of these program that we open, you can also close it by just coming out and then start it off with a new one. So right here is software update. If you click on the GUI here, there's a list of software update, and that all the software packages that are on the system, whether it's GCC or PyCharm or something, you can install them from here, no problem. You can just come in and watch these, click on these ones, whether it's for learning, for work, or anything, you could just do it. And then in addition, if you're searching for something like, let's say, Visual Studio Code, you could say, just give me Visual Studio Code to see if it is there. And then it says, yes, it is there. You can run and install the software. So in addition to YUM or PM and DNF, there is also FlatHub. Now, Flatpak is the package manager that you can use. And then whenever you install a package that's part of Flatpak, then it gets installed FlatHub. Flatpak is like similar to Snap on Ubuntu, Snapd. So Snapd is using the canonical stuff, and then it is just on the repository of canonical in it's available for you. I just exactly forgot the repository name, but it is the flat packet is just called the repository is that one is called flat hub. So for canonical, the snap is snapd, and then all the repositories are available as a container there. I will have another video that compare and contrast some of these package managers, and there's a lot of them, whether it's on PKG on Mac and Solaris, or DNF in YAM, or Flatpak, or RPMs on Red Hat CentOS and Fedora, or apt-get, apt-cache on the Ubuntu. There's a number of them, so we will just discuss them. Let's just install this one for now, and then on the command line, once you install this one, you can come back on the command line, and you see that Flatpak is going to get installed. So I have to type in sudo access privilege on the GUI. You can install it from the command line or the GUI, these packages. Let me make sure that, sorry, that it didn't work. Let me just see why the password is not recognized. Okay, so it requires a password. Let me just exit out of this one. I'm gonna open. It looks like maybe I'm logged on as another user or something. It should have recognized it, but I'm going to just open a terminal here first. Okay, terminal, and then I'm going to become root here. So do su dash, and then I make sure that my password is working. And now I'm root here. So the software that when you run it from the GUI, when I click on the software, you can also say which software dash gnome, gnome software, maybe gnome dash software, I think it is gnome. Let me just open up of this gnome dash software. Yeah, so just run the gnome dash software. That would be bringing the same interface in a graphical interface. You can see that it is downloading software catalog. It is just running as root at this time. So let's see if as root we can just go. This is a list of all the installed packages. And then if you click on the update, you know that your system is up to date. That's when we did DNF update. You saw that one. So under the install is a list of all the packages that are already installed. You can go through them and say, well, I need this other additional package. And then you can also go under Explore and then look for like Visual Studio Code, for example, Visual. Let me just type it in, Visual Studio Code. Similarly, you can do it with PyCharm. Similarly, you can do it with a number of other packages. This video is going to go longer than what I thought I could do it, but I'm going to just cover some more before we finish this one. And once we get this screen refreshing and finding Visual Studio Code, we could click on install and then do that one. But at the same time, let's just go on these other screen and then close these other ones. I want to make sure that nothing is blocking some other process that we're just waiting indefinite for it. So this is there. I believe the other one closed somehow, or maybe no. Let me just do this one more time. So first of all, do a man Flatpak. Flatpak is the command that says build and install run application at runtime. So some application like a Visual Studio Code, you can install it also using Flatpak, install and then uninstall it, and all the listing here, everything from the command line. So I could say Flatpak list, and then it will list any packages that are there, or install, and then install, and then Visual Studio Code. But Visual Studio Code is not gonna get installed like this. You have to get the .com and all that package, which I don't like it. That's why Snap and Snap is a little bit better. Canonical, they configure it better, but Flatpak, they are just configuring it. Let's say I'm gonna say no, that software, clear screen, and no, that software. So I run this one, and then on the search, I click on search. Unable to install Visual Studio Code, you do not have permission to install software. So this is what happened with that one. Let me see why the permission is an issue. So I say Visual Studio Code. And then right here, you click on install. And I think it was just a permission because of the way I spin off the process. Now you can see it is just prompting me for administrative required to install software. So let me just authenticate with the password. Okay, it doesn't work with that one. So that's not good for the same administrator password that is running, and then it says installing here. So there's something wrong with the formation, even though if I cancel it, and it's gonna just keep trying for password. I'm gonna try to see if maybe the login password, I created another account, maybe it is reading for admin for that password. It shouldn't, because I didn't provide that as my user ID when I start the process. Yeah, it shouldn't do that one. So this one is still installing. So developer of Flatpak, just look into why the permissions are giving you issue here. Unsafe and download size, all of these version history. So for Visual Studio Code, it tells you all the details here, but it is right now it's installing it 66%, 68% listed there. Even though it says that I couldn't install it, it is going through the installation. And if it gave you on the GUI that it is installed, you can open it. So let's see. Yeah, see right here, it says, even though it says you do not have it, it says click on the install again, and it did not install it. So permission was an issue on this one. Why is it an issue? Let me just do a Flatpak list, and it's not giving me anything. So sudo sudash, I'm gonna type in the password here, become root first, and then Flatpak list, and then flat. Okay, so gnome dash software. I'm going to run GNOME software for the updates with the root access. Let's see, last time it was not allowing me to search for it, but maybe it is going to do it now. So I am with the root access, and I'm just gonna click on it and say, go ahead and install it. This shouldn't prompt me for password, since I changed my privilege with higher privilege. Supervisory mode as root, and then it should now install it. So it is having the permission, and it's not prompting me. Notice it is going to install it, and it says installing 24%, so far no prompt. 53%, and this looks good. So this is Visual Studio code that's very useful for writing Python programs and C, C++, and everything else. And then at this time, I'm just going to start off with Visual Studio Code. Obviously, you can do other ones like PyCharm or some other IDE. We could do it Jupyter Lab, Jupyter Notebook, all of those ones we can install. Visual Studio Code allow you to do Python as well as C, C++, Go language, HTML, JavaScript, all of that one. So it's a very good tool for developer. And it says installing 99% done. At this time, it should succeed. And then I'm going to just wait for a few more seconds to close the end of file, make sure that it is successful. It doesn't fail at this time. Now you can see it opens. It opens it, and then the flat hub is showing the repository is available. So it did install it successfully. If I go back in the command line here and say, notice here it says could not activate remote peers until we fail. So somehow on the repository of that software for it was looking for more stuff and free desktop and information, whatever it is. I'm not going to read the detail of it. I'm just going to say flat pack list. And notice that now on the pack list is going to show that one. And then if I say, for example, grep -i Visual Studio, you can see that this is the one that you want to just run it. So if you say, let's say I'm going to do it from command line rather than opening it here, I can open it here, it will open it, but I don't want to just open it there. I'm going to close that and I'm going to run it from the command line here, say flatpak run, and then com.visual studio code. So that will just run the package and it will open Visual Studio Code here for you. So command